Hello, I'm William Dunkerley, here to tell you about the unraveling of a Russian spy story. What you'll see is that this is a story of media reports that weren't backed up with facts. Let me illustrate that point. For example, here is a list of famous Russian spies: Aldrich Ames, Anna Chapman, Alexander Litvinenko, Julius and Ethel Rosenberg. But one of them wasn't really a spy. Which one was it? Was it Aldrich Ames? The FBI has him on its list of famous cases and criminals. He admitted in court to spying for Russia and is now in prison. What about Anna Chapman? She pled guilty in court and was deported back to Russia. Then there's Alexander Litvinenko. Who could escape the ubiquitous news stories naming him as a former KGB spy, poisoned on orders of Vladimir Putin? Or what about the Rosenbergs? They were tried, convicted, and executed. But some say Ethel wasn't really involved in her husband's spying. I don't know. So who was it? Which spy wasn't really a spy? Alexander Litvinenko, that's who. That may seem counterintuitive to you, given all the media headlines that called Litvinenko a spy. But it turns out that widely reported fact just isn't factual. Where did they get that stuff from? I'll tell you where I found the real story. While writing my book, The Phony Litvinenko Murder, I heard from a well-informed former lecturer at the FSB Academy. The FSB is Russia's security service. He told me that Litvinenko never was a spy and never worked for the KGB. Litvinenko worked on organized crime cases. I knew this former academy instructor to be a reliable source. In Chapter 9 of the book, I reveal how he knew about Litvinenko, along with details about what it was that Litvinenko really did. I have another source who refutes the KGB spy story: Alexander Litvinenko's widow. I saw the Charlie Rose show that originally appeared on June 12, 2007. Rose interviewed the widow of Alexander Litvinenko. Mrs. Litvinenko told Rose that she originally met Litvinenko while he was helping a friend of hers who was having a problem with organized crime. In the following clip, Rose reiterates what she said, and then they continue talking. Let's listen to the dialogue.
A friend of yours had a problem with organized crime and he was helping.
Exactly. Yes, it was his job, actually.
He was then with the KGB?
Yes, it was already not KGB, and he never was a spy. His job was every time to work against organized crime.
Charlie Rose seemed flummoxed when he heard that Litvinenko wasn't a spy. He stutters and quickly asks for clarification.
Your friend or Alexander?
Alexander.
Okay.
There you have it. Litvinenko was never a spy and never worked for the KGB. But that didn't stop media outlets from reporting that he was. Look at these headlines. Ex-KGB spy poisoned by alpha radiation. Mysterious case of the poisoned spy. Ex-KGB agents poisoning echoes Cold War plot. Radiation poisoning killed ex-Russian spy. If you didn't know any better, you'd start believing all this spy stuff. I know I did at first, but then there's this last gem. Litvinenko's spy story could be acted out by Johnny Depp. A movie about a spy who wasn't a spy? Well, Depp did star in Walt Disney's production of Alice in Wonderland. Like Alice, the Litvinenko story told by the media seems to be a fantasy adventure filled with illogical nonsense as well. My book, The Phony Litvinenko Murder, identifies multiple Litvinenko storylines that are as specious as the ex-KGB spy fabrication. In Chapter 14, I give my analysis of why the media committed all this outrageous journalistic malfeasance. You may be wondering, what's the media's side of the story? I know I was. So I asked them, each of the outlets that I quoted earlier. I wrote with the question, why did you refer to Litvinenko as a former spy? And what did they say? Nothing. All refused to answer. So was Litvinenko a spy? I don't know, and neither do all the media outlets that claimed he was a spy. My book doesn't set out to prove that Litvinenko wasn't a spy, but it does show that the media outlets had no apparent reason to assert that he was. I've presented two sources saying Litvinenko was never a KGB spy. The media have offered no substantiation for their claim that he was. They fabricated the story. What's wrong here? Why did the media do that? There's still more to this story.